welcome to a new show. However, this could be the first time you're hearing my voice on SEN, but it's kind of an interesting story. So my name's Mark, and I've now been asked to come back to join the team here at SEN. But I was here about 4 years ago doing podcasting. Now I'm an Australian fan of the Steelers. Been a fan now for 23 years. And you guys are listening to one of the new up-and-coming shows on Steel Curtain Network, SEN, G'day Steeler Nation, or G'day Steelers Nation, whatever you prefer. So it's been a crazy time. Myself as a fandom, I've seen 2 Super Bowls, not in person, but on the TV, with 40 and 43. I've seen the loss, that versus Green Bay, with a Rashad Mendenhall fumble, and I used to work with the Steel Curtain Network, or Behind the Steel Curtain 4 years ago. So big shout out to Bad, who gave me my podcasting, start. And also working with Matty P when we had a show together called Steelers Touch Down Under. Now, I decided to do this gig, or to do this job, and come back and talk Steelers, because I want to get back more involved in the community. I want to have my say on the airwaves, but I also do have my own channel, Steelers Nation Australia, on YouTube. So this will be going out as a video right now. You're listening to it. This will be going out to all your audio platforms. There's that many: Spotify, Apple Music. There's tons of them going everywhere. And for myself, being on this podcast journey, I've been doing this stuff for 3 or 4 years. I try and be I try and be a really positive Steeler fan, even though right now people are putting up signs in Pittsburgh. They're not happy with the organization. How things left off last year with the 5 games slid down the mountain into chaos, and we got absolutely shellacked by the Ravens. We didn't turn up yet again. I'm a huge fan of Mike Tomlin. You'll soon realize that over the next coming weeks when I'm doing this show and airing this show. I try and take the little things and the good things out of the Steelers, and not just always focus on the negatives. I think in life, when you focus on the negatives, you put yourself in a bad place, and sometimes it's hard to get out of there. At the same time, though, you can be critical. I don't mind if people in the comments, if you go to my Twitter or my X, it's at Steelers OZ, so Oz, at Steelers Oz. If you want to say hello and write a few tweets, or ask me a question, a bit like how the fan base here talks to Jeff on his Let's Rides. So I try and be positive in this space because ultimately I support the team. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been there 4 times. I was recently there for the Christmas Day game, Steelers versus Chiefs, and that came away with a loss. I think we lost 29-10. And by the way, though, when I was there, that touchdown, when Jalen Warren ran to the end zone, and the crowd went absolutely crazy, and the refs got involved, and they took it back. It was one of the loudest times I've seen Heinz Field or Acrisure Stadium. I've been there twice. And I was there in 2016 as well. I was there in 2016, Steelers versus Ravens, when the Steelers won the AFC North, with Antonio Brown holding the football over the end zone to go, yes, we did it, here we go, we've won the AFC North. That was friggin' fun. That was so much fun. But when we were catching back up, and Jalen Warren ran over the touchdown zone, when he ran over that, the crowd lit up. Then 15 seconds later, the refs came into play, threw a flag, and I was like, man, now we have to chase 7 points. That was really frustrating from that perspective. So I've been to Pittsburgh 4 times. You could call me an Aussie Yinzer. That's why I start my shows off with G'day Steeler Nation. And G'day means, in Australia, if you haven't been to Australia, it just means, good day. Or when you're walking past someone at the shops, or you're walking past someone, a friend of yours, or you go to a barbecue, or whatever it may be, you're like, G'day, how's it going? Which is, G'day is just good day, how are you? So my show will be here on SEN, and I'm really excited to be back. I'm so happy to be back. doing this show. I think it comes out every Tuesday, which is available on the Steel Curtain Network, SEN Network. And you guys are a part of a lot of shows here and based in the community, so it's kind of fun. But it should be coming out every Tuesday, and also I will be uploading this to my YouTube channel as well, Steelers Nation Australia. So with all that being said, we're kind of getting to the point now, and my first topic I really want to go over in this show, and we're gonna have this kind of chat too. This should feel like a bit like a bar vibe, like when you're watching Cheers or you're walking you watch that show, when someone walks in, you're like, hey mate, how are you? What's happening? What do you think about this? So sometimes, and actually most times, my mind will go from one topic to the next. But in this little bar vibe, you walk in, someone walks in and goes, you know what? I'm not happy with our quarterback situation. And if I was sitting at the bar with you, if you walked up to me and I was sitting at the bar with you, I would respond, well, what is our quarterback situation? Right now, the Steelers don't have a quarterback, which is really odd, right? For many years, we watched Big Ben for 18 years, and we knew we had a chance to rebuild, to get certain players on the receiver or offensive line, or go and get a D-back or a defensive lineman or whatever it may be. We had a chance to run it back with Big Ben. Now, since the Big Ben era, transitioning into what we've seen with Kenny Pickett, who's a Super Bowl champion, I'm saying that lightly. You have Trubisky, you've had Mason Rudolph, you've had Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. And what is the overall direction, and what is Art Rooney II going to choose? As we sit here, 1 week from the Super Bowl, a new season is starting to appear. And Steelers talk, it's not going to be, it's going to be a lot of rumors, because people are starting to go, we should go and get Aaron Rodgers. We should go and get Matthew Stafford. We should go and get Kirk Cousins. We should go and get all these players that are rumored to us. First of all, I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers in a football, in a black and gold Steelers football jersey. Just don't want to see that. No way do I want to see Aaron Rodgers part of this franchise. I think he would set us back a few years. I think he's older. I think he's not as mobile as he used to be. I think pretty much, to me, Aaron Rodgers is all about himself. So if you were to walk into a bar and Steelers topic would come up of who's our quarterback? Who do you think should our quarterback be? And I'm sitting there with a beverage in hand, a schooner, a beer, a sherbet, all right, all slang words for beer. And I'd say, you know what? I'm pretty sure at this moment, I feel like the best case scenario, it should be Justin Fields. Now, I wouldn't be too sad if they ran it back with Russell Wilson either. I thought he played pretty good when he came in to have like a 6-2 record, but then it all fell apart right near the end, as we discussed at the start of the show. If you were to walk in and say to me, sit down, have a beer, and said, you know what is our quarterback situation? I say right now we don't really have any quarterbacks in the locker room besides Skylar Thompson on the practice squad. That's been a bit of an issue. Maybe the Steelers are trying to figure out what direction to go in terms of Justin Fields, a younger quarterback who's 25. Can you get a full season out of him? Can you get him up to scratch, maybe a 2-year, 3-year contract? Or do you go the opposite way and do you finish the career, or does Russell Wilson finish his career with the Steelers, and he's going to, sign a 2-year contract, and that's the direction you go? So I think we'll soon find out in the next few weeks what's going to happen. Ultimately it has to happen soon, right? We're getting into the free agent period with the draft coming around the corner, all those kind of things. But I do have a sense of, I think Steeler fans around the internet are getting a bit fired up and a bit pissed off and frustrated at the fact that it's kind of like the exact same feeling as last season, except we haven't got a quarterback because we did not get that playoff win. We're starting again, and people are saying now standard is a standard, right? But until we get that quarterback and we find out who's going to be quarterback of this team, it's going to be a frustrating process. But I just keep thinking, just take it day by day. Day by day, we had our I think we had the two coaches who left, were Curry and Brown. We had the two coaches that came in, McSorley and the Gerald Alexander. So they are making moves, but they're not making those massive, huge moves I think that the Steelers fan base, or part of the Steelers fan base, is expecting. To be honest, they're not making they're not gonna cut, they're not gonna fire Coach Tomlin. It's not gonna happen. Art Rooney, even the sign told him to, he won't sell the team because there's no way you would even think about selling the Steelers because they're a massive, profitable organization. You're not going to sell the team, so there hasn't been any big moves made, and they've made little moves by cutting Preston Smith. I thought he had an okay year. I think he filled in for Herbig or one of the D linemen or outside linebacker edge rushers might have been out hurt. I think he was picked up, and you guys can remind me, or you're probably thinking right now, it's this guy, not that guy. But I think he was picked up because of injury. So he played, I think, 4 or 5 games, and he had 3 sacks, a fumble. He did okay, right? But also, by cutting him, the Steelers now save $14 million in cap space. So they're doing things they have to do. They've brought in 2 new coaches. They've cut now a player, and there are going to be more moves to be made in the next few weeks or so as we inch closer to the free agent period, which is the fun time. I do get sick of the rumors. I really do get sick of the rumors where they're trying to report the Trevor Lawrence story, which I thought was absolute bogus. I thought that was crazy to see and hear, and it was. I thought that was crazy. There was Omar Khan was talking to their GM, but they didn't have a GM, right? So we're sitting at the bar, and this conversation comes up. Who is the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback? I would hope to say, I think my number one runner is going to be Justin Fields. But I'm okay, and I would cheers your glass. I'm okay if it's like, if Russell Wilson does come back and we build the O-line around him, maybe into their second and third years, and we have Jones can maybe swap sides to left tackle. Maybe Truffautanu has a really good run this year because he was injured the whole year. Zach Frazier into his second year. Does Ciamalo come back? Who plays at right guard? Is that McCormick again? So do you build around that aspect of Russell Wilson, or do you go with a younger quarterback at Justin Fields? At this point, guys, I want to leave that with you for a moment, and we're going to take a quick break here on Steel Curtain Network. And by the way, I'm super excited to be back. It's so much fun doing podcasts. It's a bit different feel doing a podcast like this than what I'm normally used to doing in live streams or a video. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to sit back, chill out, do a podcast, talk Steelers. So, yes, just let's go to a quick break in this part here from Steel Curtain Network. G'day, Steeler Nation. We're back. We're back on this new show. And just a reminder, new show and a new Steelers perspective, which is my perspective. Just a reminder, my name is Mark. I've been a Steelers fan, I think, for 23 years. My favorite player of all time is James Dearbo Harrison. I love the way he played the game. I love the way how he trained. I love his overall commitment to football and physicality. James Dearbo Harrison is just the best. I still remember, where I was at my old house in Australia watching Super Bowl 43 when he caught that pass and he ran it down for 99 yards all the way to the end zone. So welcome back to the show, and thank you for being one of the first listeners on the show. A new show and a new Steelers perspective. I've been here before. I was doing podcasts with Behind the Steel Curtain. It's where I first started my journey in my podcasting career. Now I've been going really strong, building a big brand on YouTube with over 3,000 something, 3,000 I think Subaroos and likes and community, and I've got a really good community and membership following that we call Hooly Dooly University. So shout out to HDU students out there as well. So thank you everyone for joining and listening to the show. These shows will roughly run about 25, 30 minutes. Just my take on the Steelers, what's happening right now. And right now, it is the quiet time. But yeah, big thank you to Bad and also my previous show, Steelers Touchdown Under with Matty P, where it all started. It was a lot of fun. But let's move into it. Let's move into some more topics, right? I talked about quarterback. There's some other holes on this Steelers team that needs to be addressed. And we haven't really made any big changes or moves at this point. This being the stock standard, let a player go, sign some coaches back in that. But I do want to bring up some things. I want to talk about some rumors, right? These rumors, I don't mind talking. Okay, will the Pittsburgh Steelers go and trade for Cooper Cup and get back you know, give them a third, not a third, maybe a fourth pick or whatever it may be. I don't mind doing rumors like that. It's the crazy rumors that I can't stand. I'm going to go on a bit of a TJ Watt rant, which I don't think will happen. Like, there are some publications out there suggesting, I think it was a few weeks ago, they were suggesting that the Steelers should burn it all down and they should trade away TJ Watt, get back picks, and kind of like restart, rebuild. And if you were to do that, you would instantaneously turn into the Cleveland Browns. I kid you not. You would turn into the Jets. You would turn into a Jaguars team right now who have been losing. You do not want to trade away your best player, that is TJ Watt. Because, honest to goodness, he's your best player. So I saw a few rumors like that. Those ones I won't really entertain. If you were to tweet me at Steelers Oz, it's Steelers OZ, you'll see a picture of my logo, Steelers Nation Australia, and say, what do you think about this trade? Or if you were to walk in a bar and say, what do you think about this trade? We should trade TJ Watt and get back a first rounder, a second rounder. And, it's no guarantee you're going to fill that hole. Now, could Alex Highsmith and Herbig possibly step up and fill the hole? Maybe. Maybe if they work super hard and you made Highsmith your go-to guy. But for me, when I saw those rumors around TJ Watt, I just thought they were absolutely crazy. Why would you want to trade away your best player? But I understand right now, this is the speculation we live in. We love talking Steelers football. We love talking everything about our team, black and gold. Like I said in the first part of the show, who's going to be our quarterback, right? It's also the same kind of narrative right now too. Who's going to be our running back, or what's going to happen at receiver? This is the fun part of the offseason, and also a very frustrating part. Who's going to be our running back? So right now, I think they have Warren, who could be picked up on a restricted, I think, contract where they have certain amount of power to offer him a contract first. But I think he's like a free agent. And Najee, could he be walking away? I get a feeling that Najee could be walking away from all the reading I've been doing and listening on other podcasts here and there, and what the Steelers didn't offer him, the fifth rounder. I think he could be a possibility to walk away from the Steelers, and you know what? All the best to him. I've been a Najee fan. I don't mind Najee getting in 4 years, 1,000 yards per season. It's pretty good. He's a strong runner. Maybe he just needs to go north and south and not do those crazy halfback tosses to the outside, which don't work. He's not that kind of player. He's more of a player to hand him the football, be a running bull down the middle of the field, knock helmet to helmet, and just go right through the line. Push past defenders and then get the 4 or 5, 6 yards. And you won't really see Najee run away around for a 45 or a 50-yard TD. Hasn't got that speed, but he definitely has that physicality when he turns it on. When he's on, he's on. So will the Steelers go in that direction again? I'm not too sure. I don't know if the Steelers are gonna try and offer him a contract. I know the other bloke out there from the Bills Nation, Buffalo Bills, James Cook, is asking for a lot of money. So will he set the standard in terms of the running backs and how much it should be paid this year or the next few years? Najee, I think he's looking for a big contract. I think he wants a big contract or a 3 or 4 year deal and have safety and security for his team. I just don't think the Steelers are going to go that direction. Now, could I be wrong? 100%. I'm just a fan. I'm not Omar Khan. I'm not Waddle or Art Rooney II. I'm just thinking, as Najee Harris, he's now a free agent. Would they put that money at that position, or would they go towards the draft? Now, speaking of draft is coming up very soon. I, for one, am not a draft guy. And when I say that, I'm so busy. I haven't really ever in my football life of, watching football or Steelers, or if it's NFL. I love the NFL, but I have never really put my time and effort into finding out the X's and O's in terms of who's the best college prospect. I go off what other people are saying from the Steel Curtain Network on the website, or other publications out there, or media heads or highlights, this and this. But I have been hearing recently in the podcast world with the Steelers that there are running back situation. There are a lot of running backs in this draft. So would the Steelers go out and sign Najee Harris when they could get a fresh deal with a younger running back, build the O-line up as I talked about before, let Najee walk, go find another team, and simply re-sign Warren to be your number two, and maybe find another running back or two in the draft. I don't know. Maybe you get a free agent as well to come in. So the running back position to me, I'm not that worried about as I am the quarterback situation. And I have talked about a lot on. It's so funny. I have talked about a lot on offense. At the same time, I still remember a few weeks ago, Steelers versus Ravens, when the Steelers allowed 299 yards rushing. You can't let that go. It's a lot of yards rushing. That was one of the most frustrating things, I think, after the game, when I went to the stats, and the Ravens made a pretty good deal to get Derrick Henry. I use Derrick Henry on my fantasy, my football, Madden 25. I've got a fantasy team. I've got some generated AI quarterback. I can't remember his name, but in my fantasy team, I've got Derrick Henry running the rock. So they signed him to a good deal, and they're a running team with Lamar Jackson doing it very physical, right? And for us, they just absolutely ran over us for 299 yards. And for the Steelers right now, we don't have any running back on our roster, but I feel like they're going to go towards Jalen Warren, and I feel like that Najee could be on the loose and he might choose another team, but I'm not so worried. I'm not so worried in the fact that if they let Najee go, finds another team, the Steelers will go to the draft a running back, maybe in the second, third, fourth, whatever it may be. This draft is meant to be in 2025 stacked with running backs. So get a younger bloke in there. Bloke means person. Get a younger bloke or person in there, player, at that position, 22, 21, 4-year contract. Then you're looking forward to, okay, if you do sign Fields to be your quarterback number one, then you have your team building around the offense again. So that to me is the exciting part. This right now is the exciting part, even though they're a rumor. But we do have the draft coming up. And yes, I know some fans are sick of the 10-win season or the 9-win season and getting booted out of the playoffs. But I still say this, I've said this a million times. It's very tough to win football games in the playoffs. It's very tough to win the Super Bowl. 12 teams have never won it, and 4 teams have never been. So in some sense, we are lucky to be a part of getting a sniff of the playoffs. At the same time, I do understand the Steelers fans' frustration because we've been we've been outside the club, but every time we try to go in, the security guard says, "No, you can't go in. You've had too much. Go home." And that's it. We've gotten to the dance, but we weren't allowed to showcase our skills and talent and get over the first hump to go on a bit of a run. I get that. I understand the frustration, I really do, but it's like, at the same time, 12 teams have never won, and 4 teams have never been. So could this be solved with a quarterback change? Could this be solved with drafting a running back? Maybe, the Steelers obviously have to draft a receiver. We didn't even really talk about that today in today's episode. Maybe in the future I will. Could this be solved by getting some extra help on the D-line? I think Cameron Hayward will run it back again for this year, maybe next year. TJ Watt and Cam and Minka and these blokes that are veterans now on the team need to step up, need to show some leadership and get the job done and win playoff games. That's a point that is really frustrating, where you have an all-star defense, but they allow 299 yards rushing, right? And you get swept out of the playoffs again by the Ravens. Another one and done season where it didn't feel good losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, won the Super Bowl, and shout out to them because they took care of business and they found the Chiefs out, who, in my opinion, were frauds. I think the Chiefs were frauds from getting help from the refs and then getting beat down like 34-0. So there is some positive things coming up in the next few months for our Steelers, but I do feel like it starts with finding the quarterback, maybe thinking about what direction they go for the running back, and then drafting a receiver, going to the free agent period, getting a receiver. Like I said, go to the free agent period, get a cornerback, get a D line. But Steeler Nation, this is the fun part. This is why you're here listening to G'day Steelers Nation on Steel Curtain Network, the very first show. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone as my time's running out. Thank you everyone who came, and I guess can you comment? You can maybe some platforms you should be able to comment, and others I just say thank you if you're listening. And yeah, if you want to check out my Steelers Twitter, my Steelers X, it's Steelers Oz. Just leave me a comment, send me a tweet or whatever. I'll try and respond. And I thank you everyone for listening to the show. But in summary, I'm a huge Steelers fan. I try to be as most positive as I can. This coming season, I just want to find out who the quarterback is, and the quarterback's, if it's going to be Justin Fields, then we can start to get hyped around that situation. Then we've got the draft and who's going to be our running back, and there's a lot of things to come. So make sure you check out Steel Curtain Network, their website, and then also the other million podcasts they have on this platform. It's so much fun to be back. I give a big thank you to Bad and the crew for welcoming me back to this show, because I was here 4 years ago. And I've got my camera, my mic, my light. I've got all my stuff. I've got my audio. Got my microphone. I'm good to go. I'm good to talk Steelers football. So a big thank you to everyone, and hopefully, guys, I see you guys next week.